So the parks included here would be Woolridge Park, which is where the skate park currently is, and Sloping Hill, McGee Park. The current event center is having proposal for differing ADA equipment and stuff like that put out there, as well as the Masonic Lodge. Yes. And once it's put in, we can make changes to this plan. What's been brought to the table is probably an $80,000. If we were paying engineers to do all this, that's probably what it would cost us to do this. We're very fortunate to have this. It's just, and we can get grants once this is done that we can't get otherwise. So.
This was done by a resident, right?
That's right, yeah.
He is a resident of
Merritt.
So what you see in there, like Marvin said, just to reiterate, they took a lot of existing areas and showed us what the potential is for that. Now, when it comes to actual designing and putting in the equipment and all of that, then that's where we get to definitely add our own touches. I say that because I know
And once this is approved, it's going to be hard to take some of these properties out of that, right?
Has to go to a vote.
Okay.
At election, or you have to do a special call election. Correct?
to sell.
Yeah, to sell.
I definitely think they're all great areas, other than number 5.
What's
What's
number
number 5?
Masonic, the Masonic Park.
That's what the law is.
Because,
So we drive around the city for Brooks, and we kind of keep our eyes peeled. But the area here isn't very great. There isn't a lot of green space over there. It's pretty well developed. I think in walking distance it would be fine, but I think this is a good place for rooftops, maybe not a park.
sure, because you're in construction and building.
Well, because I know the other areas that are here, I think are all really great areas. There's just not a lot there, but.
Yeah. No, and there's not. And if you look at the plan, they were actually using the existing building to remodel it and use it as a service center as well to serve different needs, not only a parks need.
Yeah,
But
we
then
never have
that's
to
also
revisit
part
it.
of what we're saying. In the long run, we had to have that to earn points to earn grants.
Well, and
And then-
that's probably not your starting point, right?
No.
So.
I would.
That's our starting point. I don't know that it's our finishing point.
Okay, so that's, I think that's the point.
The difficulty is that we can't change it.
Yeah.
We have to take it or leave it, so we have to, the vote that's fixing to happen will be decide to send it to Texas, and those property get labeled that, and that kind of becomes what it is. If we were able to take maybe a certain property out of the whole equation, there probably would be very little debate. We all agree it would be a good park. All of those, make great properties. It's a matter of, is it the best thing for all of us?
I think the starting point of where it's presented, maybe not the full finish point, I think you're definitely onto something. And I think the design is really nice.
And for those that have opinions about all this, I want to tell you that I have no clue I have a suspicion how it's going to turn out, but I think there was very intelligent discussion, and people were passionate about why it should or shouldn't be what's on this paper, so it's not taken
Well, I
lightly.
definitely can tell you from our point of view, there's been a lot of discussions about parks too, and it is definitely something that I think is going to be great for the community.
Very good. Anybody else have anything? You got a couple of park board members, well, I guess y'all already voted for it, so.
One thing to keep in mind is that this was done for $80,000
Right.
minimum.
That we had to pay nothing for.
You get paid
Yeah.
for it, and it's an idea, it's a starting point.
Yeah.
Was it, I'm sorry, but was it unanimous vote by the park board?
Yes.
Yes.
Bob, you would like to say something?
Yeah, I do. Our vote was unanimous with the understanding that we had to approve that as presented in order to go ahead and apply for grants. That's why it was approved. grants that we will go for are the type of grants where the city would have to match the grants. Now,
Yeah,
we would continually go for grants over the next few years. So it's not like we're going for $1 million and the city has to come up with $1 million.
Yes, and we talked about that, how we would make it a phased, I don't know how that would play out, but have a
But you
phased,
will
where we
have
would
to
do
come up.
portions at a time. And probably part of that is based on what grants, we can get. I mean, I know in other instances with grants, sometimes we apply for grants, it doesn't mean that we take them.
Right.
So we kinda have to fish out there to find out which ones are keepers or not. And so, yes, if we move forward every bit of this, I don't have any way of knowing how it would happen fast. I think it would be developments that would happen over the next
Well, it'll take a
decade probably.
considerable amount of time. And let me make one thing clear. I was excited about this in the beginning. We thank the university, for all the hard work they put into this. Overall, it's a great plan. Like any plan, I've already heard people that don't like parts of it.
Right.
That's part of what you go through. As long as everyone understands that as tight as money is these days, when you apply for grants, you've got to come up with matching funds. If we do apply for grants, and we don't have matching funds, we're gonna all come out with egg on our faces. I don't want that.
Thank you, I appreciate that very much. James, you got anything to add?
No, that pretty well goes along with how I feel about it. It's up in the air. It's far better than the plan that we had before. Substantially better. So I look at this as just a step up those steps. And our hands are not bound together. It is just what Bob said. We have to get those matching grants, and this is a start to that. If we don't do this tonight, then you might throw all that other stuff away. And that's just the way it's scheduled. It's not gonna force us into doing anything, so, but we do have a clock ticking.
But just to clarify, it would force us if we ever sold one of them to have an election.
Most definitely, that is a meeting that we had previous to the last one. That's what I was complaining about. I said, if we're gonna do this, then that's going to throw it back over in here, and then we're gonna have a public vote on what we can do with it if it doesn't work out. And that was a negative part to it, and I understand.
Okay, any further council deliberation? Anybody got any other questions or comments? Well, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you for all the work put into this by all of you guys. Appreciate it very much. Next, we have Heather Phelps of Lake Properties requesting that the city propose revised residential garbage collection policy. Wow! You come up with the fun ones.
Let me enter very slowly.
Good to see you.
Yes,
Yes.
hello, thank you all for your time. Heather Phelps, live at 6149 Sundown Drive.
For those that don't know, your most recent development
Yes.
is